This is not a woman's head in a box, you sick freak. This is a woman's head in a freezer.
Man, that's just
I love that shit.
That's just nasty. Some necro cannibal ass grinder.
Decapitate and ejaculate.
You gotta love that, man. Some sickness from Illinois. Huge supporter of the show, a friend. So, Trash Dick, thanks for the groovy sickness, man. That's just fucking nasty. So, new song from him.
We loving it.
Yeah, definitely killer. And we got Jeff Ignatowski with Scorpion Lair Games on here.
What up, Jeff?
What's up, Jeff?
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing out there?
We're doing good. We're doing good. And it's amazing we got you to sit still for 5 minutes. So we're in one place.
Cashman's over there blacking out.
Cashman's just doing bong hit after bong hit. But we're getting ready to talk about something that you might need to do bong hit after bong hit.
Oh, they had plenty of this shit to do bong hits with, too.
That's true. That's true. So good to see you doing good things, Jeff. And we're going to talk more about what you're doing and the latest with your Scorpion Lair games. Because, man, we love that Killer's the Card game. I'm glad you got that in the video shot there. So that's definitely a great game.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you do more than that. And we'll talk more about some of that shit you do. But if you're listening to this, you need to go to the YouTube channel so you could see all three of our camera shots are badass. You know, you got me and Chris here in the classic horns high with the fucking serial killer masks. Joey over there in the 419 with his Jim Jones, and he's got
all
some
his
shit
fucking artwork and shit.
Yeah, and then you got Jeff over there. And are you in Cincinnati tonight, Jeff?
Oh yeah, I'm in Cincinnati. I'm in my studio over here.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, he's got the head in the jar, and the Killer's the Card game. So yeah, he's
right in the brain.
Yeah, so it's gonna get crazy tonight. I think we need to be in a little bit of a odd mood to talk about this strange motherfucker, Adolfo Constanzo. So just over the top, a man known to many as the Godfather because he was the leader of a drug trafficking cult in Matamoros, Mexico in the 1980s. The media called them the Narcosatanists. I mean, over the top. He leads this gang of killers along with Sarah Aldrete, I think is how you say it, who was also known as the Godmother. So, yeah. And they're confirmed to have killed at least 16, but, you know, it's definitely over 30 by my calculations, but we'll talk about it. Could be quite a bit more. I mean, these motherfuckers are crazy. They really fucked up, though, when they abducted and brutally murdered an American tourist.
Oh, they picked the wrong person.
Yeah, college pre-med student. So the fucking heat came down on them in 1989. And we're going to get into this one tonight and dig in because it's some sickness here. And Jeff, you had said that you knew someone that knew Adolfo. Is that how I remember that correctly or no?
So I've told you guys this before, and it's amazing to me.
I do
all these conventions. I do all these conventions, and I get around all over the place. And it was 2 or 3 conventions ago. I was at my booth, and a guy came up to the booth, and he's flipping through, and he looks at the Colts expansion, and he said, "Do you have Adolfo Constanzo in the game?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I do." He said, he flipped to him and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's him right there. My grandfather's godson was killed by Adolfo."
No shit.
Oh my God.
Right outside of their compound in Mexico is where a bunch of the murders happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like he knew, like he had met, like his family had known Adolfo and Sarah, and they were killing people right in that town, right outside of their compound in Mexico.
Oh my God.
So he ended up taking a picture of Adolfo's card and Sarah's card, and he sent it to his brother who still lives down in Mexico. in their like little village there.
No fucking shit.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was
That's
fucking wild.
awesome.
He was super excited about it.
I bet.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Definitely.
That's like some motherfucker like me being who I am, but say like motherfucking distantly related to fucking Taylor Swift. Yeah, that's my 37th cousin or some shit.
Dude, speaking of that, last weekend or 2 weekends ago now, I was at a show and a girl came up and her mom's friend was killed by Ed Kemper.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
her great aunt's daughter was killed by Gary Ridgway.
Jesus.
They lived out
Wow.
in California. Yeah. Talk about a
That's
fucked up
fucked.
family, man.
Yeah, but California though, that's like fucking like murder alley, man.
Dude, have we
That's
told you that?
crazy, man? Jesus.
Have we told you that actually we're friends with a couple people that are related to Gary Ridgway? They're like cousins.
Yeah,
No, I
with
didn't know
with
that.
the last name Ridgway.
No, their
too.
last name's not Ridgway.
I thought it was.
I think their mom's was.
I call him Jake Ridgway though.
I'll call him
maybe
Jake Ridgway.
maybe
all the time.
that's why.
Yeah,
I, thought
I think their mom was actually a Ridgway, but yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
Dude, I met
And he
last
looks like
weekend-
Gary Ridgway.
Dude, last weekend I met Manson's nephew at a
real?
show.
Nice.
And well he's married in. His dad, his stepdad was Manson's brother.
God damn.
Oh wow.
So anyway, it's just crazy.
Yeah, all
yeah.
sorts of weird serial killer. 7 degrees of separation shit.
It's fucked up.
So, Chris, I mean, we did a month of cults back in August, but we just can't get enough. And this guy,
Some of them are insane, but this one is insane in a different way. Like the fucking Heaven's Gate, fucking weird.
right?
That's all that was super weird.
Right.
Shit like that. But this is just intense. Like I was saying earlier, this is like straight up a cult fucking cartel.
right.
Basically is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, it's got elements of all of it. I mean, this guy had his hands in a lot of
The
shit.
black
and-
magic or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, in the opposite words of Sublime, I do practice Santeria.
Yeah, so this is definitely going to be a good one for us. And Joey, any metal bands that you're aware of write any songs about this shit?
No, I couldn't find anything. I thought maybe Brujeria probably would have did one. but they
That would
didn't.
put
Oh
it in
yeah,
a band.
Bavaria, yeah.
But something interesting that I clicked on the Wikipedia and the Murderpedia to see because they do external links about that shit.
Oh yeah.
And just kind of the first time I'd ever seen this on Wikipedia, there was a scroll down fucking for they got pop culture, his death, the murders, and all this shit about Adolfo. But they also got one for podcasts, and I had never seen a link for
I
podcasts.
did notice that.
And I fucking looked, and like last podcasts on there, and those. But I'm
Right.
like, what the fuck? I went through a whole thing like looking up ones that we had done just to see if we were ever mentioned. But
Yeah.
not yet.
That's
Not
funny.
Yet, so.
That's funny you mentioned that because I thought the same thing, that I'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I wonder if we'll end up on here because we're doing
And
it.
I
but
didn't
I didn't look.
But like even bigger ones, like I looked up Ramirez and Gacy and shit, and none of those have one of those. But
Interesting.
Adolfo does. So weird.
That's
Interesting.
weird.
Somebody added it, so
Right.
very, very cool. So
So
go ahead, Jeff.
speaking of all that stuff, and Murder Metal Mayhem's renowned, right? I was at my show this last weekend, and there are several people that listen to the podcast that came up and talked to me.
Nice.
And we're like, dude, we hear you on Murder Metal Mayhem. I was like, yeah, I do. I'm on that show.
Fuck yeah,
Awesome.
dude. That's
Very cool.
badass.
Good, yeah.
That's,
So-
that's
Hell
good
yeah.
to know. That's
Yeah,
great.
so a couple, at least one of them, or two of them were vendors at the show that I was at. And then there was somebody that was just came to check out the event that I was at, that they were super excited.
That's
badass.
awesome.
Fuck
That's
yeah,
fucking
dude.
cool, man. Love to hear that. All right, so Adolfo is born Adolfo de Jesus, which is kind of funny with the way his life turned out.
Definitely not Jesus.
Constanzo.
No.
In 1962 in Miami, Florida, which he was in that little Havana neighborhood. His mother was a 15-year-old Cuban immigrant named Delia Gonzalez, who would end up having 2 other kids, but all the kids had different fathers.
Fucking Mexican. No, I'm
As
just
a
kidding. I'm just
baby-
kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just
please.
kidding.
As a baby, his mom would take him to a priest in Palo.
Hey, look.
Or a priest of Palo, I'm sorry.
I got 3 different kids' moms, so I can't talk shit.
That's right. That's right. Who blew smoke around him and predicted that he would become destined for greatness, a chosen one. So blowing smoke around, Chris, maybe you could try a side business, blowing cigarette smoke around babies and deeming them to be chosen one.
Fucking, I could do the alcohol vaporizers.
Yeah, there you go, because they were doing that shit too. But yeah, that's a whole different deal. But her first husband left the family, and she moved to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and got married again. Adolfo gets baptized Catholic, but then went with his mother to Haiti to learn about Haitian voodoo. So that's some crazy shit.
Why not?
On multiple occasions. So, she's getting him exposed to some stuff here. And
Dude,
this
he was
would
even an altar boy
definitely...
when he was Catholic, too.
Well, yeah.
That's what, like...
Yeah, it's weird. He was like both. It's just kind of weird.
Maybe that's why your life gets into a certain few things that happen.
Maybe. So this is definitely sparking an interest with him with the occult, dark arts, and that sort of thing. But he's an altar boy at church, so you get this weird, yin yang thing going on. Playing tennis, doing well in school there in Puerto Rico. Really had his shit together while they were in Puerto Rico. I mean, this motherfucker, though, was a total neat freak. I guess that would stay with him, beyond his youth. But it's kind of funny, though. He's got this disgusting fucking nganga rotting in his fucking house, and he's got all that. It's a whole different story. So it's kind of weird that he's a neat freak, but yet that's happening, But he's ironing his clothes. It's like a little kid, He's ironing his clothes. So
Gotta teach him young, dude.
I guess.
Fuck.
So Jeff, eventually, though, the family moves back to Miami, but then the stepfather dies. So what winds up happening, man?
So, after that, they, I guess he left them some money. And so they had a little bit of money, and they started getting involved in more of the Palo and into some Santeria. So they end up leaving chicken heads and shit all over the place. They're doing a lot of, they're doing a lot of that, African voodoo.
Right.
And, so,
Ridgeway
a lot
left
of
chicken heads all over the place.
chicken heads everywhere.
God damn it, dude. That was good.
That's good, yeah. So the all of that stuff with Palo is it's a fascinating religion because it's very much based in African kind of tribal culture.
Right.
And and brought over to Mexico and then mixed with voodoo and then mixed with Catholicism. So it has a lot of elements of the rituals and stuff from the Catholic people,
Right.
but it also has all of the religion from all of their tribal traditions too. So again, you see all the cutting off of the chicken heads, the different voodoo symbols that are placed in different places.
Right.
No, dude, Joey, even before you said what you said, every time the whole chicken head thing, chicken, all I could think of was fucking goddamn Aqua Teen when he's like, arise, chicken, arise.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
You so fucking retarded.
Since we're talking about this religion and we're on camera, let me show you this shit. Hold on.
You don't have an nganga, do you?
I don't have an nganga, but I have a fucking
wow.
Nakonda. So this is like a house blessing thing where they would oh shit, that one's loose. Where they nailed in like pieces of fabric and stuff.
Oh wow.
So this one, from what I understand, was a ritual house blessing where they would heal their sick people in the village or in the house, but it could also be used to curse people.
Oh my god.
So you could nail in pieces of their clothing and stuff and then curse them.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not gonna lie. It looks like he's got a dick down here in his mouth and a dick up here in his hand.
Yeah, that is pretty intense, man. It's like Pinhead gone fucking crazy, you know.
Which is why I bought it, actually. Because I was working on that game for Clive Barker, and he's got one. And Pinhead was based on this.
No, really?
Oh,
it's
wow.
fucking crazy. Yeah, no bullshit.
No, it looks badass, dude.
That's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. So, yeah, I mean, as a teenager, Jeff, he's getting into this shit heavy because he's an apprentice, right, to that priest?
Yeah. You know, and you wonder, you know, all the stories about priests and stuff, and later on, some of the shit that he gets into, and we're going to get to it, but you wonder how much extra loving he got from those priests.
Yeah, you would have to wonder, especially since, you know, he was bisexual. So, I mean, it's very possible. Yeah, hard telling, pun intended there, you know, how that went down. But, yeah, I mean, he's getting into some shit. I mean, I didn't really get too heavy because of just time to research exactly what those religions are about, but I mean, this is a pretty extreme, like, animal sacrifice.
Yeah.
And, you know, he, of course, took it, and like they all do with these cults, is they take something that may be very, you know, innocent, you know what I mean, and warp it into something fucked up and violent, you know what I mean, because I'm sure most people that practice this don't do the fucking crazy shit he did, you know what I mean? So we don't want to, you know, say that anybody that follows this is this way, but this is just like a perversion of the religion, just like the terrorists did with, you know, Islam and that whole situation. It's the same type of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this guy just fucking got all crazy with it, but I mean the foundation that's being set though here is not good. You know, he's exposed to something that in his mind is taking it to a different fucking place, you know. I mean, it's interesting, and like we've pointed out too with the tie-in with Catholicism, and some of the rituals they do in Catholicism are not that far off of this, but this does things more, you know, literally than some of that stuff. So it's interesting. You could debate it forever, and that's why I don't want to really get into it. I just wanted to kind of let the listeners know, like, you know, these religions are, you know, different to us because it seems like, you know, from another world, you know, but
oh no, this guy was just fucked up. It ain't a religion.
Yeah, well, that's like I said, he takes that and then makes it fucked up.
Yeah.
Then Chris, I mean, you guys don't do this at the Nation, do you? You're not sacrificing zebras and shit like that over there.
Look, first of all, you don't know what the fuck I do at my house. There has been some shit happened there that you should probably go to jail for.
Color me intrigued.
Yeah, I just didn't know. I mean, it's crazy with this whole nganga.
Yeah, I don't have an nganga, dude.
No, well, that's good. I'm just saying that's a really.
You got a
crazy...
piss jug though?
No, I don't. Not no more, bro. I moved up through the world, Hoss.
Oh,
Come on.
Wow. I didn't think that's like the Santeria, you know, piss jug, you know, the nganga. You know?
Yeah, but I do not.
Wow.
I mean, it'd be a cool thing to build for Halloween next year, building a styrofoam or wood nganga. Just this metal pot full of fucking... What?
So I got to tell you all this. because you haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. But the Colts expansion, the Narcosatanist, right? You have to build an nganga.
Oh,
that's
nice.
fucking
Game,
awesome.
right? You got to kill a certain number of people, and you have to build an nganga to win.
Oh, wow.
That is great.
That's awesome, dude.
No,
You
I
gotta,
love
collect,
that.
Yeah, you got to collect the different parts, and you have to.
Oh, wow.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
no bullshit.
That's awesome. That'd be a great fake commercial, Joey, like a build your own, like a chia pet, but like an nganga, you know, you add water like this, warp in the...
No, we should just do one, and Jeff could use it to advertise the fucking game.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Build an nganga with killer
Yeah,
come on,
that
dude.
would be awesome.
That would be pretty funny. So yeah, I mean, this shit is just so wacky, you know. I mean, with this whole, you know, the Delia, the mother, she was the one that was leaving it in the house, and that was supposed to be very, you know, that they would explicitly say don't leave it in the house because there's like rotting animal pieces in this thing. I mean, imagine this. I mean, this is a cauldron. We're calling it nganga because that's what they called it, but it's like a cauldron, and they're fucking adding like, you know, the heads of rabbits and different animals they're putting in this thing.
Whatever.
And it's like in your house. That's fucking disgusting, you know?
I don't think that animal parts is the worst thing that's going to happen in this story.
No, not in this story. But I mean, at this point of the story.
And also in other stories that we've told.
Right. Yeah, I'm just saying,
if you're trying to cull the powers of the dark and the occult and the most vile shit, though, maybe that's why you need the most vile shit around you.
I guess. I mean, fuck. I mean, was that like the early version of the fucking potpourri, like the Sensi? You know, this
I'll go with it.
Boiling fucking animal fucking pieces in this nasty fucking soup of just disgusting shit.
And we're going to drink it.
Dude,
Yeah.
you know what I always wonder about that is like when you were to go down there and go to somebody's house, did you like pass it on the way in? Did you know like, hey, maybe I don't want to go to this fucking place because they got some nasty shit happening here. Like they say that they had to store it outside, right? Because the nganga was its own entity, right? They believed it was an actual, like a force,
Right,
exactly.
So, like
a living like thing
the,
with its own like universe and shit. It was like
Yeah.
some really wacky shit.
Oh, it definitely
Like,
had
we're
its
the-
own fucking own society going down there with all the bacteria and everything.
It's
that was
no
that was
shit.
It's
definitely
alive.
that.
Yeah, I mean, we're laughing, but I mean that's seriously what they believed, you know.
yeah.
So this thing was like alive. It's just really fucked up to even think of it, you know. But the mom was the one that started with it in the house, which, like I said, the religion frowned upon that it needed to be kept outside. But Jeff's point is a good one. I mean, what if you're having a barbecue and you get this disgusting fucking nganga boiling off, you know?
Right.
I'd be a little worried if the guy was serving like soup or, you know, anything
but they
like
were.
that. Where do you get this soup from?
I feel like if you got one of those outside, everybody that comes over has to at least jerk off and leave a little semen in there.
100%.
You gotta add to it.
That's the cover charge. That is the cover charge.
Oh, man.
You have to leave a little DNA in there.
Oh, man, it's just fucked up. So, Adolfo's mom, Delia, she gets married again, but the new husband is not only into the Palo religion, but he's also into drug dealing. So now this is not good.
Fuck yeah.
And obviously not a good influence on Adolfo. He's now a teenager. Getting into some bad influences, definitely, you know, not a good situation, because at the time he was going to prep school, but then he ends up getting kicked out of school.
Fuck school.
And he's not some kid, you know, growing up on the streets. He's in a pretty privileged situation. You know, they had some money. He was, you know, not struggling there, but he was doing some nefarious shit and getting into trouble. And he's claiming he's got these special powers. He predicted that Ronald Reagan would get shot and survive, which
happened.
Crazy that it did. And a lot of people believed that he was a prophet.
He probably did it He paid dude off. Fucking.
Oh yeah, paid Hinckley off. Yeah.
I will.
So yeah, I mean it was other stuff too, of course, but he had these people believing that he was some kind of special prophet, you know. And Joey, I mean, he's involved with this stuff now with his mom, which is fucked up, and getting into some even more trouble, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's learning how to fucking come up and hit licks and all that shit. Fucking, his mom's teaching him some bogus shit, and you know, she tells him that he's got psychic abilities and shit, and that she believes that he has powers, which, you know, later on, obviously, he's gonna believe, you know, in that shit as well.
Right.
But they get busted for theft, like fucking vandalism, shoplifting, like it's the beginning of his criminal path. But at the same time, it's like, if you had those powers to protect you and keep you invisible, why did you get busted? Like, obviously,
That's a good
it didn't
point.
work out too well. So later on, maybe he just fucking. That's why he needed a little more fucking shit in the Uganda. You know what I'm saying?
Did you see that
The
shit?
nganga.
Like,
The Uganda.
Obviously, his mom.
Nganga.
Like nganga. Obviously, his mom's fucking teaching him some fucking weird ass shit. But at the same time, remember, like, did you see that she got like busted or whatever? And there was like 30 some animals in the house, and the whole fucking floor and everything is just covered in blood and feces everywhere because all these animals
Chicken heads all
running
over
around the
place.
fucking house. Like, what
But
the
he's a
fuck?
clean freak.
Yeah, that's
all while
where.
he's like fucking ironing his clothes right next to the piles of shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Dude,
that's funny.
I used to work at for the Department of Juvenile Justice, right? And I went into a house one time, and we were trying to do a home visit, and we were talking to these people, and the fucking one of the dogs took a shit right on the floor, right?
Right while you're talking?
Yeah, while we were talking, the dog took a
Jesus.
shit on the floor, and I turned over and I said, "Hey, you gonna get that?" And instead of them like cleaning it up, they threw a towel over it and sprayed it with like air freshener, and just kept
Jesus.
talking to us.
That's
And I
fucking
was like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
awful.
So crazy.
Dude, I used to have to do for my job home inspections like prior to demolition, and I saw some gnarly stuff. But I saw this one house. These people had just moved out the day before, and there was a huge pile of dog shit in the middle of the kitchen floor that was like petrified. So it had been there a while.
Right,
and
they
I'm
just
thinking,
swept it into
I
a
remember
pile.
you told this.
yeah, this
Be
dog took a
Christmas.
fucking dump, like a big fucking dump in the middle of the kitchen floor, and you nasty fucks let it sit there and petrify. And you just moved. It was just so. I used to see that stuff all the time. Yeah,
That shit is gross, man.
Dude,
Yeah, it really
one day when we don't have any mayhem and we got to fill some, we need to just tell a story about a house that we've gone into where the shit was just ridiculous on the carpet, and we've all been in one of them places, and that's such a classic mayhem that we haven't really brought up. I think.
That's a good point, dude. That's a good.
We don't have to
point.
call anybody out by name, but we've all been in some gross houses. I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Right, definitely. So I mean, Jeff, he ends up as an adult now, moving to Mexico City, and now things are going to get even more fucked up. What's going on over there?
They get super crazy, and this is, you know, kind of where he starts really meeting some of the people that become the big players in the cult later on.
Right.
He's already involved in all the drugs and all that stuff, and, you know, he's learning that whole game. And it's kind of crazy because, you know, we talk about, him and his mom got caught for shoplifting and shit like that, but he is getting away with bigger crimes, right? They get busted for some of the little shit, but he doesn't get caught for the bigger stuff that he's doing.
True.
Because he's moving a bunch of drugs now.
Right.
And so he meets Martin Quintada. I'm fucking bad with names. Sorry.
Quintada.
But he meets Martin, right?
Right.
And so, and Martin is pretty well known for being gay. And so now the cult starts to take a new meaning because it's not just them busy running drugs and, you know, believing all this shit about Adolfo. Now they're all getting involved in sex.
Right.
So they're all sleeping with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that brings a whole new meaning to the cult. And we see that with other cults too.
Right.
When all of a sudden, especially for a cult that's, you know, based in these African traditions and all of this voodoo, sex magic is a real big thing. And so now they're performing all of that and, you know, sleeping with everybody. And that really, really changes things for them. And then they start sacrificing all kinds of animals. You already mentioned the zebras and shit.
Right.
Like, so...
Lion,
you know,
cubs? I mean,
goats.
wow.
Yeah. Where the fuck... You're in Mexico.
Right.
Where the fuck do you get a zebra? Where do you get a lion cub?
I don't know. From
Well,
zoos,
you saw
I
it
guess through a zoo would be the only
Goddamn
that was-
cartel
yeah.
got that.
There was prices for those shits.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fucked
you know
up.
what? That's a fair point, right? Like the cartel was bringing in all kinds of shit, right?
True.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they loved having
Just
like
buy
exotic
one.
animals,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And bringing them into the country
That's a
because it
good
made them
point.
look badass.
Yeah. Who's the fuck?
So
Yeah.
you know, maybe he got it from there.
And with
I don't
him
know.
doing his evil spells on them that made them feel protected, so they were more brazen, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
just like, oh wait, Adolfo put his spell on us to protect us. Like, we can
Right.
just do whatever we want.
Yeah, they were incredibly superstitious, but he also meets at Jorge Montes and Omar Orea. So they kind of form, like Jeff was saying, that core group,
Yeah.
you know, in the beginning. But these guys are all, you know, like Jeff said, having sex with each other and all that.
Fuck yeah.
And the animal stuff is just really fucking crazy. In Palo, the members take on other identities. Adolfo believed that he was the Palo version of Satan, so that was his deal, and he's got a lot of people believing in him. You know, he was also doing some modeling
I saw that.
and was also dabbling in dating men and women both. And I think Jeff's point's valid, though. You know, we don't know what they were doing to him in his, you know, youth,
Right.
involved with the stuff that he was doing. Who knows? You know,
Oh, yeah.
He just dude out there like he was just honestly he's just like, I know how to start a cult. I know how to make a shit ton of money. Let's do this. And it worked for him. That's what I think, honestly. He's like,
Yeah.
this is gonna happen for me.
Yeah.
Determination, brother.
But Martin Quintana, he was his main relationship, but you know, they were still, like I said, messing. It was an open relationship situation. There were a few women that were also part of this as well. There was also a drag queen I saw named Damien, but I didn't see much more about any of them and what wound up happening to some of them. I'm not sure. But this just goes to show how people in Mexico just really religious and very superstitious. A lot of them are Catholics, but you also had a segment of the population that's going to be into this kind of stuff and animal sacrifice and all that. But these guys had a business of, you know, casting these spells, and, you know, these rich people believe in this stuff, paying them a lot of fucking money. It sounds crazy to me, but obviously, you know, this worked for them.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole nganga thing is
he
just fucking crazy. I
He
mean,
just learned how to
Well,
fucking take.
you know,
he learned how to take the drug cartels literally, and be like, he had grown up predicting all these things, whatever, had this
Right.
thing going. And the drug cartels wanted protection, getting their stuff, so he would charge them money, and that's how he came up. And it was through the cartels, though,
right.
because he's like,
so
if I can make money off of your drug money, let's do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they
So
believed him, you know. I mean,
What up, Jeff?
They were very superstitious. What were you going to say, Jeff?
yeah, for hundreds and hundreds of years, people have been buying into, you know, especially these tribal religions and stuff.
Right.
The witch doctor, right? And currying favor through whatever magical spells or totems or
that's what these
items
people are
that they
doing.
could get, right? And that's all they're doing. They figured out that they could do that and that people would pay them for it.
Yep.
And it's no different from, back in the 1600s where the church was getting people to put money in for indulgences, right? So they were basically paying to get into heaven or to have favor with God. It's the same thing here. They're trying to get favor with whatever their spiritual guides are, to try to make sure that they have love and health and and life.
And so all these dudes smuggling these drugs are just like, got it. It worked last time. I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he had to have good success with it. It just sounds so crazy.
Listen. When I do conventions, I literally put shit in the same spot on the table every single time. I actually, like, the top of my my thing, I make sure that it's facing a certain way every time because I'm super fucking superstitious too.
I used to be like that with sports. I was that way with sports. I don't follow it as much as I used to. That's for sure. But yeah, I have a little bit of that as well. A little bit.
You can't wash your left testicle until after the fourth game.
So this just goes to show how, these people were just super, super into this stuff. Now, Chris, Adolfo now is in this business with them, this group, but he becomes the leader. And how does this now start to get even more crazy?
He starts killing people.
Yeah.
Again. Fucking, he would actually have his people that started following him just walking around and like, go find me a victim. And they just go grab random people, be like, hey, you want to come hang out?
Right.
And he would, as soon as they got there, he'd just fucking hit him with a machete or whatever. And then there's this one family, I can't remember the family, but they just disappeared.
Yeah.
They just disappeared. Nobody knew what happened. But then their body pieces start floating up out of
Yeah, I got that coming up where they would talk about the elimination of the entire family, which is fucked up. But, he's practicing kind of a merger of Palo and Santeria, similar to what we see in these cults where, like, they take this piece of this part and that. Oh, I don't like this, so I'm not going to do that. But this is cool, so I'll follow that. And they make it their own. And when you're fucked up like this dude is, I mean, it's taken to a whole nother level. But, I mean, he's got wealthy people, celebrities. He is networking like a motherfucker. I mean, this guy really knows. We talk about this all the time. These guys, if they would have used this shit in a positive way, I mean, think of what this guy could have done, right? Could have started his own business and been very successful, Well,
look at what he's doing. He's providing not only like their drug habits, right?
Right.
He's also providing their spiritual guidance.
Right.
He's providing protection for them.
Right.
So he literally becomes everything for these people. You need to relax a little bit. Here we go. We'll bring you in some drugs to relax you. You need to get up and get some shit done. We'll have you snort a couple lines of coke.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Definitely. But Joey, through this business, I mean, he's meeting some very, very influential people, and that would lead him into this whole heavily into the drug cartels, man.
I mean, yeah, he's basically a political figure of sorts down there, and so he obviously knows all the corrupt cops, so they're fucking, linking him up with all the other cartels. The thing about fucking
corrupt
Adolfo,
fucking
too,
agents working for him, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and if you're corrupt and you're an agent, why wouldn't you work for him? You know what I'm saying? Fucking
right.
But the thing with Adolfo too is like it's like the cartel cult or whatever. But in all honesty, he wasn't really in the cartel. He just associated with them.
Right,
and
exactly.
I don't think he ever considered what he did a cult. You know what I'm saying? As
Probably
much as
not.
it was just him and these people that were like-minded doing shit and making money.
Right.
But,
Do you think Jim Jones considered himself a cult? It was a religion.
True. I mean, but I don't know how you can look at fucking Jonestown and not just be like, oh, that's a cult just by looking at it. But
Right.
you know what I'm saying? This is a little fucking darker and, I don't know, a lot more a part of their culture. So it's like harder to draw shade on, I guess, myself. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
fucked
get
up.
that.
I'm not saying that, but, you know, what it's rooted in is probably a lot better than what they took it as.
Right,
Right.
I get that.
Yeah, but
Jones
anything
like
you're
to
doing with a
control.
drug cartel, you're definitely getting in a dangerous fucking game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're
yeah.
dealing with some
Oh, that's for sure.
extreme fucking brutality. I mean, over the top brutality. Also, though, very superstitious, which, like we've been saying, he's got that, you know, giving them things that more than one thing that they all need. I read that the Gulf Cartel, which was the cartel that he was doing the most business with, one of the oldest cartels, operated just over the U.S.-Mexican border on the Mexico side, right near Brownsville, Texas.
Which makes sense.
Right there. Adolfo's getting involved with the cartels. He demands to be a share of the business of one of the prominent crime families in the area, just very ballsy. And it's at
Like,
this
no.
point, you know, he would step up that Palo fucking shit he was doing, and he's now raiding graveyards to get human bones for the nganga. So he's just not satisfied with chickens and whatever else he was using. So now he's got to go get human bones, pulling some Ed Gein shit here. But it sounds like maybe Nico could have helped him out a little
Not
bit
like-
there.
Yeah.
But Nico's too smart to deal with this fucking
Yeah,
fool.
Nico ain't gonna fuck with this guy. This
No.
guy's dumb.
Exactly. So one of the guys, though, that Adolfo's doing business with is this federale by the name of Salvatore Alarcon, or Alarcon. I'm not sure. I'm butchering the pronunciation. But he is a well-known federal police officer. The nickname, though, this guy, Three Face.
Yeah, because he had
This
those
is so
scars.
fucking wicked. He's got a scar going down his face, so they said each side of his face looked different. From
right.
the sides, he looked like two different people, and from head on, he looked
looked the
like
same.
three, because the two together were. I mean, that's just fucking horrifying. I mean, like, what the fuck?
It's like a fucking goddamn Batman character.
Yeah, that's just unbelievable. So this guy, fucking Three Face, is
No
nuts.
offense, bro. I know.
And Adolfo would also be doing business with this guy that would be our equivalent of the head of the FBI. So, I mean, he has got some very, very high up influence that is just unfucking believable. But, Jeff, like with all of the death cults, they just can't be satisfied with killing some chickens, dude. They just got to get fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and you know, you already mentioned it that, you know, he was starting to collect all of the bones and stuff from the graveyard, and you know, he was really just taking it to the next level, right? So from using all of the animal sacrifices and stuff, now he wants to go into taking over all of humanity, right?
Right.
So he has got big plans to enter in as, you know, Satan as like the ruler of this world. So he is trying to come in, and you know, he feels like he needs to go and get all the real people and put them in the nganga,
Yeah.
so that he can open up the universe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's fucked up,
fucking
dude.
crazy.
Yeah, and he also, I read or saw that he believed that the nganga needed more energy than the animals could provide, so the human body parts or bones would then, you know, bring that nganga up to the next level. And like you're saying,
Yeah.
I mean, this is just like, holy shit, like batshit crazy.
He modded out his nganga with human body parts.
Modded that shit out.
I hear a
for
song,
those of you that-
Joey. I hear a song here so badly, man. I mean,
Right,
really,
right.
come on. I mean, seriously.
So for everybody that listened to the Halloween episode, you know, Nico talks about that too, and the energy from the blood,
right.
Yep.
right? And how that changed things, and how you could feel that power from all of that. Well, that's exactly what Adolfo was doing here.
Right.
I was talking to a guy just recently when I was in Orlando, and he is one of the medical examiners down in Miami, Florida. And he was telling me some of the wild shit that's going on down there right now with the cartels, and that they've busted a couple houses, these torture houses, where they take, in really, really nice neighborhoods, the cartel will go in and buy a house. They'll soundproof the house, and they'll take these people in there and they'll torture them for days and days.
Oh my God.
And then they'll take them into another room where they'll, you know, cut them up. They'll get rid of the body parts. And they actually found them because, just like old Dennis Nielsen, they were flushing people, they were grinding people up and
Flush
flushing them down the toilets,
yeah.
right?
They obviously
And
don't listen to
so-
anything like us because they'd know better, right?
That's right. It's not
Yeah,
KFC.
yeah. So
it's not KFC.
Yep. So, so they're backing up all the toilets, and they're finding that shit. You know, so, you know, Adolfo, you know, doing similar things, and, you know, we're going to talk about that, wiping whole families out
Yeah.
and shit.
Fun shit.
Yeah, it's definitely fucked up, man. It's definitely fucked up. I saw there was one incident where Adolfo was doing a cleansing ritual that ended up in mass slaughter. I think this is what we were alluding to.
Yeah.
The drug dealer's family, including their maid, who was a young girl. Martin was fucking crying in the corner while Adolfo's just stabbing everybody in a frenzy. I mean, what the fuck? Bodies found, as you were saying, Chris, mutilated in a nearby river. But this guy loved cutting off fingers, ears, toes, fucking genitals while these people were alive. And then he would make necklaces out of their spines, which is really fucked up.
Oh, yeah. When we
He
get
would like
later in
tie
this-
a string to it.
Oh, yeah. Later in this.
Yeah, I mean, really fucked up. But the police assumed that these murders were cartel related, you know, and didn't really do much because that shit was unfortunately very
Because
commonplace.
They were drug
around
dealers
there.
and criminals. The
Yeah.
cops didn't care.
Yeah, they just figured they were other drug dealers, so fuck them. But this was when he was wearing a bunch of jewelry, kind of like Mr. T inspired shit. And he had this fucking bitchin' mullet. So, like, he was just
Like
fucking
I said, he was a
screaming
fucking
the 80s.
bisexual model. Dude was hot as fuck, dude.
Okay. I'm just saying, the guy had a fucking righteous mullet and a fucking bunch of jewelry like Mr. T, you know?
Right?
So, Chris, I read that the police believe they killed about 20 while they were over there in Mexico City.
That's a lot. They're fucking
It does.
human remains. Like when they actually raid the place, dude, it is disgusting. And the cops are, well, I'm sure we'll talk about that later in the notes, but
Yeah.
it is fucked up, dude.
Yeah, and I think that what you're thinking about is the ranch where they were.
Yeah, the
This is when
ranch.
they were still in Mexico City, so they weren't at the ranch just yet. But yeah, I mean, they're killing a lot of people. We got 20 victims at least. I'm thinking it's probably more, but who knows with these guys. So now the group, after killing 20, felt that they needed the brain of a human being. So this nganga is just like a demanding bitch, man. Like,
They've been putting
Wow.
brains and lungs and genital organs in there for the whole time. They
but
just
they needed
the white boy is
not
what they
just
needed.
any brain. They
needed the
needed
white
an
boy.
American student, because that is where we're going to get to here with the brutal abduction and torture of Mark Kilroy in 1989, which is absolutely horrific shit. Now, before we get into Mark Kilroy, I did want to mention that the other person involved in the cult, we mentioned Sarah earlier, she was from Matamoros and going to college there. That's how she met him, was being there in Matamoros. He planned to use her to get to a man named Elio that he was trying to do some business with. And soon enough, Sarah gets involved in this shit, and she's in it just like the rest of them. And, you know, I mentioned that the cult called Adolfo the Godfather, and of course she's the godmother. But I'm not sure exactly what kind of relationship they had, but I've seen some varying accounts of it. It's hard to say. We know the guy was bisexual, so who knows? He did like to keep around a lot of young boys to, you know, play with, and that's where, you know, he's kind of building this like almost harem of young dudes to hang out with.
Dude.
But he also had women around, you know, so really don't know. But the media would dub the organization the Narcosatanists for obvious reasons, but it wasn't really Satanism that they're practicing. But it was funny to, you know, find out Adolfo would later talk like a baby when the subject of his mother would come up when he was talking to Sarah. That's just fucked up.
Because Sarah and his mom had the same birthday.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, just very odd that he would revert to talking like a little baby when he was talking about his mom to Sarah. So that's just very strange. Now, Joey, Adolfo made her a high priestess in the cult, so she's moving on up apparently.
Yeah, Sarah's pretty important to him. Fucking, she goes around, she gives classes on the Palo and the Santeria to the members. They would carve symbols into each other's backs and spray rum infused with hallucinogens around the room.
Now, Chris, there we go.
A cult induction ritual. I mean, that's a great idea. That's a party.
Bro, that is a
That's
party.
what I'm saying at the Nation.
All we need is some fucking goddamn fluorescence and some fucking
Now, can you use one of those Vicks vaporizers? Did you guys have one of those as a kid? You know what I'm talking about?
Well,
the vaporizer?
Yeah.
Can we work that into it maybe? Putting the alcohol in the vaporizer?
Oh, yeah.
And having it, like, you know, vaporize. I don't fucking know. I mean, how would you do it, you know? I'm just thinking that Vicks vaporizer would be the fucking way to go. I don't know if I'm dating myself bringing up some old shit, but I remember having that. Whenever I was sick as a kid, my mom would rub that shit on my chest and then put that vaporizer in my room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
I gotta tell you, I don't know why, but like Ben Gay, that smell, always gets me excited.
Because you've been gay.
What up with that? I got some weird ass
oh wow
association with Ben Gay. So I don't know.
That's fucking great, dude.
Yeah, just fucking crazy, man. But Joey, I don't know. I mean, he was getting involved with marijuana. And getting it across the border.
The thing with Sarah Aldrey, too, is before she met up with Alfonso, or Adolfo.
Alfonso.
Fonzarelli.
Yeah. But before she met up with him, I can't remember his name. I think it was Hernandez or something. But he was a big time drug dealer, and another cartel was her boyfriend. And Adolfo, he like fucking like set it up to where he fucking ran into her like almost literally outside with his car and shit, I guess. But,
right. Yeah, I saw that, dude.
Yeah, that was Elio. I think that's the Elio that he was trying to do business with, and that's why.
So I mean, she so obviously she already knew a fucking thing or two about that fucking game. So now fucking, you know, she's hooking up with Adolfo and she's fucking giving him all her knowledge that she's learned. And so he's running with that, you know, and using her for all the other reasons too. Right.
Yeah, definitely a lot of shit going on here. But you know, I was thinking about Joey. You know, you're the resident expert on marijuana here. I don't know if if you've ever smoked any of Adolfo's marijuana here, but I had some suggestions.
You know they're a cop when they say marijuana.
I have a couple of suggestions. Maybe if the cult was to like grow marijuana and sell it, for business. I have one, nganga nectarine.
There you go.
Human honey pot, and this is my favorite one. Marga Santeria.
I like it.
Come on now.
I like all
I'm
three.
just saying.
I think Nganga Nectarine is my favorite one.
That's pretty good, yeah.
And then I'm thinking maybe an Nganga air freshener, for your car. You're missing the Nganga, you're in your car.
Right.
Why not have that stinking animal carcass fucking running in your car? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
dude.
just good. The party keeps going. I'm sure that would have been a great Scentsy flavor too.
I'll just fucking goddamn pull over on the side of the road in the middle of summer when we see a fucking raccoon on the side of the road. Throw that in there.
There you go.
Ready to go.
In my Nganga you go. So Jeff, Adolfo moves the operation out to the desert. Sounding like some Manson shit here. What has he got going on?
Oh man, he goes out there and Rancho Santa Elena, about 20 miles outside of Matamoros, but that's when he starts getting real fucking crazy.
Right.
Because he's isolated out in the middle of nowhere.
Drugged the fuck out, I'm sure.
Yeah. He's fucking got all these drugs and he's busy doing all kinds of crazy sacrifices. And part of it is now, he's also got Sarah, right? So I believe she's out there with him, and being like the high priestess, she is like, I can't remember who it is, but it always reminds me of like the when the knights were around, right? And they would have the king.
Talking about the medieval times.
Yeah, in the medieval times, and he'd have like the black magic chick there, right? Like helping him do all the shit and to predict all these things.
Right.
Yeah. Well, a similar thing
like
was happening
Beastmaster.
there. Yeah, Adolfo was out there doing all the crimes and getting all the money to come in by his modeling and the drug dealing and all that shit, and eliminating a whole bunch of other drug dealers and stealing their drugs. But he was using Sarah to continue with all the spiritual stuff. So she's running all of that now.
Right.
And he's just the figurehead. So he's like drawing a lot of energy and a lot of power from her and her control of all of the other people. Now, I don't know if we get to this later on, but Sarah's still in prison, right? And she's written, I think she has a book, and she does paintings and all kinds of stuff. I got a couple of friends that are selling her stuff right now.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so I mean, he is definitely getting all paranoid out there, out in the middle of the fucking desert. I can't imagine running into these crazy motherfuckers and ending up at the ranch. Sounds like a nice retreat, but I'm sure it was anything but that for these motherfuckers that got brought out there for this sick fucking shit they were going to do. He is obsessed now with setting up his new nganga in the special shed that he has on the property, and he needed some human parts.
It's a special
Nganga. You see the pictures of the Nganga, like you can see them online or whatever, but
right.
And that's his new Nganga. That's like the new, like you get a new pan and you're like stoked because it's not all crusty and shit.
Like,
right.
Fuck yeah! Look at this. Got this
it's
new
like
cast iron.
You look at a picture of it, it's like, if that's the new one, what the fuck did the old one look like? You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah, that's it. What is the nganga at the yard sale look like? You know,
yeah.
It's like, oh shit! I just wrecked my 2020 fucking goddamn Cadillac. Oh, check out the new ride. I got a 1983 fucking Escort.
So yeah, he's all obsessed with this shit. So he needs some parts. So unfortunately, the cult goes and grabs up this drag queen named La Claudia by cutting off his fingers, toes, and penis before trying to skin him alive, which they had to stop from all the fucking screaming. Now, they're out in the middle of the desert. I don't know why the screaming would fucking matter at that point, but whatever.
And I thought that isn't like a big part of their fucking rituals and shit is you want the people to be in pain and to be scared because that's what feeds the nganga or whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's fucking craziness.
But at the same time, if it's fucking annoying, why don't you just cut their tongue out? Like, I can't handle you screaming, dude, but I need to fuck you up with some more, so out goes your tongue.
Yeah, I guess. Another guy was sodomized and then beheaded, so he got fucking pans rammed. Fucking brutal.
That's just saying he got pans rammed. That just
it says it all, doesn't it?
Even if you didn't know who Panzram was, if I didn't know who Panzram was, somebody walked up like, motherfucker just got Panzram, I'd be like, that's not good, is it?
No, that's not good. That's not good. The word rammed.
Yeah, like, nope, ain't nothing good about what just happened.
That'll definitely make your asshole pucker.
That just made me think of that sick fuck, sodomizing everybody before he killed him. Adolfo wearing a ceremonial white robe while all this shit is going on. So there we go. At this time, he's getting into cocaine. There we go, Chris.
Gotta love
it. Cocaine.
White robe and white powder.
That's right. He's like Black Sabbath Volume 4 at this point. Marijuana just fucking bales of it, storing large amounts of it at the ranch. They
smoking that weed like I smoke cigarettes times two.
They're out of their fucking mind. I'm sure they're armed to the fucking teeth.
Oh, they found lots of guns.
With their fucking reputation, I'm sure people wanted to stay the fuck away from him. Kind of like Vlad the Impaler with the impalement of his enemies to scare the enemies. So I thought that was
show you what's up.
Reminded me of that. But Chris, I mean, this is some sick shit going on here, man.
He gets brazen though. All these sacrifices and murders that have been going on, they're just random people that nobody cares about off the streets.
Right.
All that.
The classic stuff that we talk about all the time.
Nobody cares. Nobody's really looking for him. Yeah, we're looking, but we ain't looking.
Right.
Now all of a sudden he's like, I need a white American dude to fucking come over here. Need to put his brain in the Ngaza or whatever.
Nganga.
Yeah. But yeah, so like they grabbed this kid. His name's fucking goddamn Mark Kilroy.
Yep.
He had just turned 21. He just hanging out partying with his friends.
Spring break, March of 1989.
Yeah. Yeah. There it is. And he's just like hanging out and fucking he gets snatched up. Like drunk as shit.
Because he took a piss.
Yeah, I take pisses in dark corners all the time.
He gets separated from his classmates. And
me looking at me, I'm not worried about standing off and taking a piss. Ain't nobody gonna kidnap me. They're gonna be like, no, that's not gonna work. But he gets snatched off the streets. His friends are all like, oh, we can't find him. They're like, we'll figure it out in the morning or whatever.
Right.
They never find him. Well, sucks to be him because he got snatched up by the wrong people. He ended up out at the fucking ranch.
Yep.
That's the last place you want to be.
In Nganga fucking time.
Yeah, it's the last place you want to be.
Pans rammed and in Nganga.
And his dad was like a fucking worked for the U.S. Marshal or some shit like that. Not the Marshals, but something with fucking race relations or something like that.
Yeah.
He was like really well known. They had motherfuckers on both sides of the border.
They were working this case like hardcore. They fucked up.
Something's wrong.
Yeah, they fucked up because like you said, Chris, these street people nobody's going to miss. But this kid, pre-med student, wealthy family, oh yeah, they're going to come looking for him.
Definitely.
You can watch an entire documentary on the Mark Kilroy story. It's fucking horrible. You know what I think's horrible? What we were just talking about. Now you got this rich white kid. Right.
Fucking everybody's looking for him.
Right.
But there's a whole documentary on his story.
Right.
And the perpetrator's story. but all these other people, nobody cares about, really.
Yeah, it's unfortunate,
Isn't
but
that
their
fucked up?
families aren't raising a stink like Mark Kilroy's family, and that's the reason why.
That's exactly the reason
got a
why.
lot
That's
of
fucked up.
attention. But yeah, it is fucked up. But the fact that that's what got him caught, albeit whatever, I mean, the motherfucker, got what he needed. But this poor bastard ends up out there on the ranch. He's, he wants his brain because it's a superior brain. He knew he was a smart kid at college. And he needed an American in the nganga to help him see things across the border into the United States.
That didn't work.
So this shit is just fucking insane. Now, Joey, speaking of some crazy partying here, I mean, what if Jesse ended up in this situation? What would happen, do you think, with the butt chugger, man?
And I'm not 100% positive, but I feel like if Jesse was fucking hanging out with them, they might see some potential in having him around and not kill him. I think he would become... he might be the head fucking Uganga fucking keeper. I don't know.
Right? Nice.
Would he butt chug a beer and then shit it into the nganga? Would that be like his...
You gotta butt chug the nganga liquid.
Oh, man. That's ruthless.
I don't know, man. So poor Jesse. But
Uganga enema.
Yeah.
Definitely. As time passes, the cult believes the nganga is hungry and needs more human flesh. So this is just so insane that a group of people would believe this shit. We see this, though, all the time with these cults. The cops, though, they're following the leads because of the Mark Kilroy situation. They get some information when they tortured one of the cult members named Little Seraphim. So one of the cult members gets picked up by the cops. They're torturing his ass. And they get the information they need, and they're going to go raid this fucking ranch. So now the real fun fucking begins, Jeff. The cops raid the ranch, and they find the old nganga there. What happens, dude?
Oh, man. They find all kinds of shit in this nganga.
Wow.
It's got metal in there and coins and a bunch of human remains. It's got a brain floating at the top of it.
Guess whose brain?
And it's Mark Kilroy's brain. Yep, they find that floating there. It's crazy because most cults are concerned about getting more followers, right? They want more cult members to do their stuff or whatever it is. These people didn't give a shit about getting more cult members. All they cared about was moving drugs, making money, and sacrificing things to the nganga.
Right.
That's all they cared about, dude, for real.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit about anything else. They were not trying to have a worldwide religion of members. No, they were sacrificing people to the nganga.
Right.
There's a whole 10 of them that are doing all this
shit.
Right?
It's so fucked up, man.
It's crazy.
I wonder if when they were going through the nganga, somebody's like, "That's where the fucking remote was, motherfucker." I couldn't find a fucking
Dude, I've been
remote.
looking for this Tupperware lid forever.
Yeah, I couldn't find that lid. Fuck, that's where my fucking keys were, motherfucker.
This is bullshit.
God damn it. So they raid the ranch. They discover the remains of 15 human bodies, including Mark Kilroy. But as big as this fucking place was, they suspected there was probably a lot more there. I mean, these crazy motherfuckers are hopped the fuck up on coke. They're smoking this dank fucking Mexican dope. And they're probably snatching up people for this fucking sacrifice on a regular basis, like we've been saying,
See that story where he had him go. One of his fucking guys went and picked somebody up, just threw a hood over his head, brought him back,
right?
Cut his head off and recognized the shirt and it was his own cousin. Didn't even give a fuck.
Yeah. I remember now that you say that. That's fucked up.
He just took a machete, chopped dude's head off. He's like, that shirt looks familiar. Oh, all right, cool,
Damn.
whatever. It don't matter.
It's fucked up, man. That is so fucked up. So it's just, I mean, you add up 15 to 20 they found in Mexico City. You add the 15 to the 20 they found in Mexico City. I'm counting 35, and it's probably double or maybe even triple that because, like I said, they were doing this stuff so much, I don't think they really have an idea how many they killed. It was part of their business, and they definitely had a way of scaring people off without even thinking of wanting to rob them. And I'm sure most of the cartels just didn't want to fuck with it because they were so superstitious and knew that, you know, he was able to keep them, as they at least they were thinking,
right? That's what
out
he
of
was
trouble.
He's putting these spells on these motherfuckers.
Yeah, he's keeping them safe, you know. So kind of the perfect situation for him to be in, you know what I mean? Now, Chris, the police, you know, said that Mark Kilroy was killed, man, with a machete chop.
Dude, like we were saying, this kid just turned 21. They're out on spring break and shit. Out getting drunk in Mexico. On my way to Mexico. But they got separated from his friends because he got picked up on the street by fucking the fucking cult.
Well, he was talking to a woman. I think the woman's what lured him away from the group, and then that's when they snatched his ass up.
Right. But it doesn't matter who he's talking to. He should have never gotten that fucking car.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He ends up out on the ranch, and they are sodomizing him. They are torturing him, cutting fingers off, and then they eventually, not Pablo, Jesus fucking Christ. Adolfo. Fucking can't do it sometimes. Yeah, but Adolfo, he just fucking takes a machete, chops his head off. Hence why his brain is in the cauldron of death. And it's not good for him. I mean, they tortured him forever, dude. Like, they sodomized him.
12 hours, man.
Right. And then
fucking
when they
horrible.
buried him, they just cut him into pieces after that, too.
Yeah. Yeah, just fucking horrible. So the cops are on the fucking tail of Adolfo, man, as he takes off for Mexico City with 4 of his followers, including Sarah.
Yeah, and it's just like happens to be that they get called over to a different location because they had heard shots fired in the area. They're over there and somehow fucking run into that fucking house where they're staying at. I don't even know how exactly that went about, but fucking they ended up finding them over there. I think that there was some.
Well, Adolfo started shooting at him from the window. He saw the cops pull up, and he thought that the cops were there for him. So he opened fire with a fucking machine gun from the window on like an upper floor down on the street. So then the cops call for all these backups, so now there's like a shitload of cops there.
Didn't even previously, before the fucking, they went to the wrong place because of the argument or whatever, didn't Sarah actually write a note and throw it out the window and somebody found it and just didn't say
I'm not
anything?
sure.
You know what they did with it? You know what they did with that note?
Nothing.
I know. They fucking, it said, she was like, told them exactly what was going on and who they were in that place. And fucking, she was like, they're gonna kill me and I need help. And fucking somebody found the note. Did nothing.
Wrapped it up. God. Just put it in their pocket or threw it in the garbage. Wow. Thought it was a joke.
Yeah. Thought it was a joke.
That really, really happened, dude.
Wow, that's fucked up. That sounds like one of those old, urban legend type stories. That's just insane. That's just absolutely insane. Wow. But the fact that they were able to catch them that way is just nuts. Because, Mexico City has a population of 9 million fucking people. So, I mean, the odds of them finding it
wild.
Just unreal. But the news in Mexico was all about the story of Adolfo, the murders at the ranch, and that he was on the run. So people are looking for him. They're moving around from hotel room to hotel room, hiding from the cops. They end up staying in some dive, which apparently freaked Adolfo out because it was dirty. So that's kind of funny, as he's living with an nganga in his fucking house. The ranch was burned down in accordance with religious procedures.
Right, they're like, this place is clear now. Fuck yeah.
Burn this motherfucker to release the evil that they felt, was there. So that's fucked up. And of course, this pissed off Adolfo. So Jeff, the cops get there. Adolfo believes they're there for him, and he's fucking shooting. How does that all go down, dude?
Yeah, it's not good. You know, this is what happens when you're on all kinds of drugs and you're super fucking paranoid. Right? You can't keep cool no matter what. And they show up and he starts shooting.
Like, oh, fuck.
He's like babyface Nelson up in that fucking window, man.
He's like Punky, man.
He has, you know, so he's shooting at him and then he realizes that there's no way out. Right? And he realizes that he's going to go to jail. So he'd rather be dead than go to jail. So he gets one of his followers, old El Doobie,
is that Joey?
And orders him
smoke a doobie with my brothers.
You're not using your papers for writing. It's for rolling doobies.
About to smoke a Uzi doobie.
Oh man! So El Doobie or Little Doobie, what was his fucking name?
El Doobie.
El Doobie, yeah.
So he orders old El Doobie to shoot him and Martin.
Right.
So they didn't have to go to prison. Right.
Martin's like, fuck you, asshole. What the hell is that about?
What about me, bitch?
Yeah, now I'm going to go to prison.
Said, you got to lick me and smoke me.
So, yeah, El Doobie, we got fucking, what do you get, 30 years for killing Adolfo. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's
I'd be like, I did you guys a favor. Fuck you guys.
Exactly.
No, he didn't do them a favor because they wanted to torture that dude the same way he did so many people. They were like, no, he got off easy. Yeah. You know that's why.
So Adolfo's only 26, man. He gets shot by El Doobie. So El Doobie does sound like a nickname, Joey, if you were going to become a wrestler.
26, though. Look what he did in his 26 fucking years.
That's what I'm saying. If he would have done good.
God damn.
If he would have done good, he could have fucking, man, he could have crushed it.
I killed so many people.
So he's taken, El Doobie's taken into custody. Sarah is as well. Of course, Adolfo and Martin are dead. You got a total of 14 cult members arrested and tried for all sorts of crimes related to this shit. Violence, drug trafficking, obstruction, other stuff. Sarah would get 60 years in a Mexican prison, so we know that's no fucking joke. 60 years is a lot of fucking time anywhere, but in a Mexican prison, holy shit. But, you know, she did some heinous shit. So, I mean, she was involved with this shit as well. But there were other cult members that were never found. So again, I don't know what happened to, you know, the rest of them there.
Martin he died of AIDS before he even got sentenced, right?
Martin got killed with El Doobie shot him in.
Oh, in
Adolfo.
Okay,
yeah.
So the dude who shot him? Doobie shot him.
Doobie.
I think Doobie was the one. He did get a sentence, but went to prison. Oh, he got charged, but I think he died of AIDS before. I think that was him.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I'm not sure about that. That's very possible.
I might think you're the wrong person. I got a lot going on right now, and I'm drunk.
The U.S. says that if Sarah or any of the cult members are ever released from prison in Mexico, they want them, and they're going to try them for the murder of Mark Kilroy. So,
all right.
Sarah's in a cell no matter where she's at. El Doobie ended up getting the 30 years, like you said. I did not know about that. He died of AIDS, or may have been the case with him. The rest of the cult,
butt chugging the nganga,
right?
Yeah.
He probably just jumped in and be like, "Feed, Father, feed."
The rest of the cult were sentenced to lengthy prison terms as well. So yeah, a lot of fallout here. The American media is hung up on that Satanism angle. Of course, you got the satanic panic going on at that time. Classic. So it makes sense. They just couldn't understand that the Palo and Santeria were, you know, to them it sounded like devil worship and all this other stuff. Other issues would come up about the Mexican police corruption, which, of course, we've heard about for fucking ever. No shocker. At that time, the big news story would have been the Iran-Contra hearings, because that was huge. all over TV, and so that would have probably overshadowed a story like this from Mexico. So that's why maybe, because I don't remember hearing about this at this time. It was later that I learned about it. Now, Chris, I see there's quite a few podcasts that have been done about this guy. Joey pointed out, that they listed some. Were there any that you listened to?
I listened to one.
Yeah, was it any good?
It was good. It's a podcast that I like to listen to, but that's not the only.
That's cool. Which one was it?
It was Let Them Fight.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Joey, what about any good documentaries that you wanted to mention? I mean, I know there were some Spanish ones too.
Which were, they had some good ones on the Spanish ones. Luckily, this case I'd already known a lot about. Had already, been interested in it before in the past, so it was kind of just like refreshing. But serial killer documentaries, I like that channel on YouTube.
Yeah,
they did a good one on it.
Yeah,
and the boys and fucking Little Stinkers, if you ever watch them dudes, they did one, and I like them because they kind of reminded me of us, because they don't give a fuck. They say whatever on there too, like talk the same shit like we talk
shit,
joke about shit, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, but they did a good one on this one too, so
that's cool. Yeah, I definitely saw a good one myself, but
about you, Jeff?
What about you, Jeff?
Oh yeah, I've listened to a bunch of different podcasts on this. It's how I found out about it in the first place. I think Last Podcast, Time Suck have all done episodes on it. And I listen to Little Stinkers too. They're fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
They don't do a killer cage match though. I don't think so though.
No.
No, they don't do the killer cage match. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there on this guy. I mean, definitely would have been great to see a police interrogation video, if he wouldn't have gone out in a blaze there. That would have been
a blaze of cowardice.
Yeah, exactly. So, anything to add to this one, guys? Definitely a longer episode. We're past an hour and a half. Yeah, almost hour and 40 minutes here. So
I'm good.
Definitely a long episode, but I think there's a lot of detail here and just such a brutal story.
And there is so much fucking more, dude. Y'all listening or watching, whatever. Yeah. There is so much into this.
Yeah, there's like 40, 50-minute documentaries just on the Mark Kilroy stuff, So there's a lot of stuff
There's
on
a
here.
lot on this one.
Yeah. But, Jeff, we appreciate you coming. Go ahead, dude.
I was just going to say, I like, they were talking about a tie, too, where Henry Lee Lucas, when he drew his fucking map and he was fucking showing all the spots where he had, supposedly committed murders or whatever. But there was one spot, and it was outside Matamoros and shit, and he told the fucking investigators, he was like, that place right there, he was like, they do some fucked up, crazy, satanic shit out there.
Oh,
and
wow.
Fucking, he told them about it before any of this ever fucking came out.
That is fucking
But he lied about so much shit, who knows? He could have been talking shit.
But still, how fucking weird is that?
Yeah, pretty coincidental.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. But Jeff, thanks for coming on to talk to us about Adolfo Constanzo. Definitely a good one. And what's the latest with Scorpion Lair Games, and what do you got going on over there?
Oh man, I've got so much shit going on right now. And before I say that, I'll say this: I'm glad I finally got to do one of the cult episodes, because I was feeling left out. I didn't get to do shit the month of the cults.
Oh yeah.
So. I was glad to come in for this last cleanup on the Colts.
Right.
So, but with Scorpion Lair Games, I've got 4 months, and I'm currently working on the Profiler, which is my new game coming out. I think we talked about it before, but that is a social deduction game, and so we just did the first play testing of that a couple weekends ago at a convention that I was at, and it was fucking awesome. Everybody loved it, and I'm really, really excited about the direction we're going with that. And so, it's one of those games where you can play as the investigator or you can play as the killer.
Oh, cool.
And you got 60 minutes to figure out who the killer is, or you lose. You got to figure out who the killer is and what kind of killer they are, or you lose. So it's a lot of fun. And then, of course, I'm still working on my book. Hopefully, I will get that done by the first of the year. And then we'll have true crime myths and legends coming out. Maybe I'm going to mention something about old Adolfo in there. I don't know. I got a Colts portion of that book too.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Well, very cool. Well, good to hear that you got so much shit going on, and we'll definitely link to your website in the episode description so you guys can check out the games, because Killers the card game is our introduction into what you're doing, but you got so much more, and that new game sounds really cool about the profiler, so that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, sorry I had to walk away for that, Jeff. I really had to pee.
We understand, Chris. We understand. As long as Adolfo didn't scoop you up while you were out there.
I'm good. I just really had to pee.
Now, I did my research.
He just went to the corner.
Yep, I did.
I did my research,
outside.
watching a couple good documentaries myself. This Is Monsters is the one that I watched. I watched a couple, but that was the one I liked. Also, I read some articles on Murderpedia, and there is a book called Cauldron of Blood, which actually I might check out and see if I could find it on eBay, because that would just be a cool one for the collection. But this guy's story's out there if you want to learn more about it. There's an entire documentary, as I mentioned, on just Mark Kilroy. But if you if you search for Adolfo Constanzo, you're going to find a bunch of stuff. So
I kind of want to know if that Cauldron of Blood is on Audible.
yeah, I didn't think about Audible. Now we're going to be off for the next 2 weeks, but don't get concerned, okay? This was an impromptu vacation opportunity my wife and I are going to do that had to be done this particular week to make it work for our schedules. So because of that, it's going to involve missing 2 episodes. So I appreciate everybody understanding that.
Isn't it a little weird, though? Podcast, day off. Podcast, day off.
Yeah, it was not by design, but you needed the thing for last week.
Yeah,
so.
sorry about how.
So no,
and I got a story about having podcast night off too, as well.
Oh, okay, all right. So anyway, we've got you covered though for the next 2 weeks. So don't worry about it. Next week, you're going to get a bonus episode of the full interview that Tex and I did with Mick very recently. It was part of the episode we did, the last Australian case we did, which was it Chow Hayes. But the full interview is almost an hour long, and it's great. Now, the 666 Club's already heard this, but you guys are going to hear it next week, when we're off, and it's a good one. It's a really, really good interview. And then the next week is Thanksgiving. I wanted to give you a special one for that day or that week.
One that's very sentimental to us and our listeners that have been around forever.
Yeah, because this is a really cool one we've not released yet. This is a rare interview that I did with CK's wife, Laura. I interviewed her last year when we did our tribute to CK episode in March, and I only used a small couple pieces of that for the tribute, so you're going to get to hear the whole thing. I think it's about 35, 40 minutes. So these bonuses are going to be really special, and they're going to be the next 2 weeks. So no concerns there. We'll come back with a vengeance. We got some good ones coming up, so don't have any fear.
Yes, we do.
And that 666 seconds stuff on the YouTube channel, those will be rolling out these next 2 weeks. So you'll have a lot of content while we're on our little break here. So, Joey, any page a day that you wanted to mention?
Just a quick one, but it's pretty classic. It's about some high-profile problems where high-profile people got arrested.
Okay.
Now, 50 Cent, He was arrested after a concert in St. Kitts in 2016 for using an illegal swear word. So he got arrested.
Hold on, what? Hold on.
Yeah.
Does it say what he said?
No, it doesn't say that. But that could have been it.
I feel like I'm in deep shit.
Right? No fucking shit, bro. I'm in super deep because I say a lot of fucking words, bro.
Now we all know this one, especially being metalheads, but Ozzy Osbourne, he was arrested in 1982 for pissing on the Alamo Cenotaph Monument in San Antonio, Texas. And he got fucking public intoxication for that.
Right.
In 2007, Foxy Brown, she attacked a beauty supply store worker who asked her to leave because the Florida store was closing. She then resisted arrest when the police arrived, so she got arrested for that.
There you go.
Charles Barkley, back in 2008, Charles Barkley, he got DUI, which might not have been too big of a deal, but he went and told the fucking cops that he was on his way to see a prostitute, so that did become a big deal.
Like, hey, look, I'm trying to go get this hoe.
Yeah. And then the last one they were talking about was 1999. Matthew McConaughey, he's playing bongos in the nude after responding to a noise complaint at his Texas home. The cops come and they take him in on suspicion of possession of marijuana and resisting transportation, but he was ultimately only charged with the resisting transportation. I don't even know what the hell
fuck
that
is
is.
resisting transportation?
Resisting transportation.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like, you
is
want to
that?
ride? No.
No, you're busted. Please come with me. You have the right to remain silent.
What the fuck?
Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law.
So that was the
Major day. Good stuff.
Dude, so speaking of Ozzy taking a piss on the Alamo, right? When I don't know if you guys have seen this. I do that Route 666.
Right.
Yeah,
and I went down there and did a bunch of the sites
Bundy,
of
yeah.
Bundy down in Lake City and Tallahassee. So I went back there where he dumped the body of Kimberly Leach, right? And so I went back there and there was a pallet back there, like a broken down pallet. And I for sure took a piss on that pallet. So,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I remember those
man.
videos of you walking in there and I'm waiting for somebody to like pull a gun on you, you know?
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah. Dude, when I left there, like I went to get in my car, and as soon as I started up my car, like one of the farmers pulled out of his driveway. And I was like, holy shit, I hope that guy turns the other way.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in deep shit out here.
Where we used to hang out as teenagers was right next to this property that the Moonies, that Reverend Sun Yun Moon ran. And if you got close to the property line, there was people on ATVs fucking coming out to fucking find out what the fuck you're doing there. And they were armed. There was no fucking joke. Yeah, my dad's like, don't even fucking go near that place because God only knows what would happen if you like stumbled on their property. It's pretty crazy shit. So, all right. Well, we have done our fair share of murdering tonight. Definitely a good one. I think it's time to crank up some fucking metal. So, Jeff, what the fuck do we need to do?
We need to get our metal on.
Yeah.